Well, one of my brother's friends asked me to talk about the Naruto Collectible Card Game since I have both initial starter decks. The problem is, I'm not sure how you talk about the Naruto Collectible Card Game because I guess I could talk about the various cards, but when the game first came out, not all the cards were established, and in my area, the game wasn't very popular. In fact, it was so unpopular, Walmart never carried anything beyond their initial purchase order in the area. So if I didn't pick up the starter decks when I did, I probably wouldn't even have two of those right now, which is the same reason why I only have one My Little Pony starter deck, and I'll probably never have a second one so I can play my brother with it. They only got the booster packs, initial booster packs, which haven't sold out yet because most people don't know about the My Little Pony collectible card game or don't care about it, which is sort of what happened to the Naruto collectible card game in my area. No one really cared about it, so for the most part it disappeared really fast. In fact, it was only by looking up online I found out that this game only officially ended in May of 2013, and the initial starting run was in like 2006, so it ran for like 7 years, and I didn't know about it beyond the first couple months. As far as the game structure itself goes, it's got a lot of the common collectible card game, action card game, TCG rules, where you can only have 3 copies of a card. And I think when it comes to the ninja cards, since the various Hina cards I've seen by trying to look up the game and trying to find out more details about it, you can only have 3 ninjas of the same name. It's nice stuff, I guess, there. But as far as how the game itself works, I thought it was all right. I mean, it's not the most complex card game I've seen. I mean, it's not as simple as say Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's not as complicated as Magic the Gathering. I mean, maybe with all the ninja effects that came later, it might be, but when it first came out, it seemed pretty simple, straightforward. It seemed like a nice enough game. It's just I couldn't really get into it because, like I said, it didn't last very long here, and I didn't know anyone else that owned a deck. There's one strange thing I noticed about the starter booster decks, though, is that they came with 50 cards, a 40-card deck, and a 10-card side deck. But a deck has to be, according to regulations, exactly 40 cards in the game manual. Exactly 40 cards. It's your minimum and maximum amount of cards in one. I also found how fighting itself worked a bit unusual in that when you attacked an opponent, you didn't get to select your target. They would pull out their teams and choose which of your teams they would intercept with their blockers. It was also a bit different in that when you built teams, they'd be put into squads of up to 3 ninjas, but you could have as many different squads in your village as you wanted. So if you wanted, you could have each of your ninjas be their own squad and just launch a lot of attacks against your opponent, but that's not true entirely also because you can only send 3 attacking teams in one turn unless you have a card that lets you get around that rule so you could send more teams. I also found the overarching goal to be, well, I guess it's not as weird as the Full Metal Alchemist game where you're trying to win locator points, or the My Little Pony game where you're trying to score points by confronting problems successfully, and that you'd be trying to attack your opponent and then have it, and if they don't try to stop your attack by blocking you at all, if you had a team score 1 to 4 points of damage, you would take 1 card off your top of your opponent's deck and put it in your battle rewards or face down without looking at it. And if you scored over 5 points of damage, you'd take 2 cards and put them face down in your battle rewards area. And the first person to score 10 battle reward points would win the game. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea. I would have preferred life points and stuff, but I guess that doesn't really work when you got cards with an attack power of like 1. In fact, since you can put teams in groupings, they have 2 attack stats. They have 1 for being the head ninja and 1 for being a support ninja. You also have healthy stats and injured stats on the cards, well, for the ninjas at least. Where if you put them in, you first put them in, they're healthy, and if they take damage because they're in a battle and they lost by 1 or 4 points, only the head ninja would be injured, and you'd have to turn the head ninja on the side to get their other stats, which are usually lower. A few characters like Naruto can get better once they're injured, but not always. Another thing that's annoying is your ninja gets injured, they lose their effects unless they have a status on it like valid, which means it always applies. But if you lost a fight by more than 4 points, you would take all the ninjas in your attacking team or blocking team would be injured, and all have to be put in their injured status. It is possible to heal cards, but you need either specific characters to do it or specific mission cards to heal them. There might also be some specific jutsus that also do it, but like I said, I only got the starter deck, so I don't know. Starter decks in the game first came out in like 2006. But like I said, overall, it seemed like a pretty good card game. It just didn't take off where I was at, so I never really got to experience it beyond a couple of games with one of my brothers, which mostly would have the little mangy mutt running around in between our board, messing up all the cards and knocking over the turn indicators and getting the decks mixed up. A little pain in the butt. But if there's one thing that was disappointing is, yeah, I never really got to play this game against anyone else. It would have been nice. I mean, I guess I could always bug my brother's friends to play me, or something. My youngest brother's friends. I mean, I got 2 starter decks, so it's not like we couldn't play. Though the starter decks were a bit unusual. If I might have already covered that, in that they came with 50 cards, and the deck size was 40. I guess that's enough rambling, though. Yeah, enough rambling. It's a nice game. I wish I got to play it more. That's really all I can say about it.